Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. This is going to be my recap and review of Game of Thrones, the final season. This is season 8, episode 1. I don't know if this episode had a name. I looked it up in IMDb. I didn't see anything. I'm sure it will be, and I'll have to edit it later. But yeah, I just went off, so I took some notes, and I'm excited. So here we go. So, of course, to do the long, this is what happened before. It's been a lot that's happened in this last 8 seasons, and I'm excited about where this season is going to take us. So, Jon and Dany arrive at Winterfell. Arya is standing along like the parade path, I guess is what we're gonna call it today. And she sees Jon. Jon doesn't see her. But she sees him and it's dead silence. All the people from the north are looking at him like, who the hell are you? Who invited you? Stop trying to make fetch happen. Arya sees not only Jon, but she sees the Hound and she sees Gendry. Three, besides her dad, three, and was the dance master, teacher, three of the most pivotal and important men in her life. So everybody is dead quiet, and Jon is saying to Daenerys, you know, I warned you. They're stubborn around here. They don't do strangers. You're gonna have to. They just not with it. And then all of a sudden the dragons fly overhead and the people start screaming, and then Dany starts smirking to her. She getting on my nerves a little bit. Just smidge. Not a whole lot, but just starting to tap dance on my last nerve. So Jon sees Bran, and the same reaction that he had when he saw the other baby before he got killed in the Battle of the Bastards. Like he genuinely loves his family. And so he goes and gives him a hug. And then he hugs Sansa. And Sansa's like, you brought this bitch back with you. The fuck? Who asked for this? I'm so glad I'm not monetized. There might be a lot of cussing. Please be advised. So Sansa is sitting there like, hey. Put on a fake happy. Oh God, wait, hold on, because I feel like it's dark in here. Maybe I'm crazy. Is that better? That's better. Yeah, see all the shininess on my face. So Jon introduces Jon introduces Daenerys to Sansa, and Sansa, ever the gracious host, is like, the Winterfell is yours, your grace. And Daenerys tried to compliment Sansa, and she was like, okay, cool. I don't want the return to sender. I don't want it. So Jon asked Sansa, where's Arya? And she was like, she's lurking around here somewhere. So we then get to Jon actually sees Arya. He's standing at the tree, and they have a wonderful embrace. We've been waiting since they said goodbye in season 1 to see them two together. And he was like, you still have it? And she shows him needle, and he shows her his sword. And he's like, have you had to use it? And she's like, once or twice. He really has no idea who his little sister really, really is. So they have a short conversation. I'm assuming Arya already knows that Jon, everybody knows the secret that Jon is Aegon Targaryen and not really a bastard. So he was like, I'm just trying to protect our family. And he's like, I love our family. And she was like, just remember that. Just remember that. Because I guess, he might flip out once he find out that they're not actually brothers and sisters like he's thought all his life. So, we then go to King's Landing with Cersei's raggedy ass. So, she is sitting on the throne. And the Golden Company has, the Golden Company has arrived. And so she finds out they have 20,000 men, 2,000 horses, and no elephants. And she's really disturbed. That's the sticking point, bitch. That's the sticking point for you, is that there's no elephants. Like, she seemed really like, the fuck you mean there's no elephants? I paid all this goddamn gold. And he was like, well, elephants don't really travel well overseas, so sorry about it. And she was like, I guess. She's like, I really want the fucking elephants. Bitch. Elephants don't trump dragons, boo. I don't understand what. Okay, girl, sure. So, Sir Bronn, of course, is at the brothel. The 3 hoes that's with him is all talking about the dragons and how they melted somebody's face off, and now the child don't have no eyelids. And she's like, how do you sleep if you don't have eyelids? And he's really trying to get his rocks off, and they are really just disturbed by the dragons. When Master Pycelle shows up, and he was like, Cersei has a job for you. And she was like, he's like, yeah, y'all people keep having all these jobs for me, but you'll never come across with the money. And he was like, that's all Sir Jaime's doing. Cersei pays in advance and with gold in chests, which is outside in the wagon waiting for you now. And he was like, okay, so what does she want done? Cersei's raggedy ass, let me tell you about this bitch, is paying Sir Bronn of the Blackwater, best friend to both Jaime and Tyrion, to kill them if they survive the war with the undead. And with a crossbow, no less. So you had both of your brothers in front of you last season. In the last episode of last season. You could have killed them right then. But you couldn't do it. So you decided, all of your infinite wisdom, that you go send their friend, their compatriot, to kill them. She's a cold-hearted bitch, boy. Oh, God. And Cersei is pregnant, but she's back to drinking. So I don't, is she actually pregnant? I don't know. But Euron comes back, when he came back with the Golden Company, he's like, so I bought you the Golden Company, I bought you justice with the broad who killed your daughter. So what's up? We getting jiggier now. What's happening? What's going on? He's like, what's up? He's trying to get in your guts, girl. What's good? And she was like, if you want a whore, buy one. But if you want a queen, you have to earn her. Earn me, nigga. Is pretty much what she was saying. And he was like, you with the shits. I have earned you. You know, you gonna have to come across. I don't understand what the issue is. And so she goes and they go to have sex. And she's like, I guess. And he's like, he's gonna put a prince in her belly. Little does he know. I think there might already be one in there, but I don't know because she was drinking, so who knows? She probably gonna pull a Maury Povich. You are not the father. So we then go, while all of that is happening and they are distracted, Theon shows up and he rescues his sister. They kill everybody on the boat who's left on the boat guarding Yara, and they take a couple boats and they be out. So, Yara and Theon are on the seas and they're leaving King's Landing, and he was like, Daenerys is in Winterfell. And she was like, I know, but there's no one at the Iron Islands while Euron is here with the Queen. And so if it all goes wrong and they have to make their last stand, they can do it at the Iron Islands where the dead can't get to them because they can't swim. And he says, and he was like, "You're my queen. When you go, I'll follow." And she looks him in the face, and she was like, "You want to go to Winterfell?" And he was like, "Yes." She was like, "Well, go to Winterfell." And she's like, "What's dead may never die, but kill the bastards anyway." So Yara is going to go to the Iron Islands to prepare to take over the Iron Islands as queen, and so that if they need to flee, she's an ally of Daenerys. If they need a place to flee after the last stand of Winterfell, if Winterfell falls, then they can always come to the Iron Islands. So Theon, Sir was it? No, it was Tyrion, Varys, and Sir Davos, and they're having a conversation, and they're watching Jon and Daenerys giggling in each other's faces, and we are proposing a proposal that they get married, since they already in love with each other and all that other stuff, to garner a better alliance, to bring the North on board, so that North doesn't feel like, so the North feels more, I guess, connected to what is happening and what's going on. So Jon and Daenerys ride the dragon. So they're having a conversation. She gets on the dragon. And she was like, "Go ahead, get on." And he was like, "But I don't know how to run a dragon." And she's like, "No one does until you get on the dragon and ride it." And he was like, "Okay." So he gets on the dragon. He almost falls off a couple times. They go flying around. And they go to where this waterfall is. And he was like, "It's cold up here for a southern girl." And she was like, "Well, keep your queen warm." And they start to kiss. And Jon looks over his shoulder, and Drogon is looking like, "You too close to my mama, nigga. I don't do this. I don't do you. I don't understand what the problem is." And she was like, "Don't worry." And he looking at Drogon, and Drogon looking at him like, "Nigga, okay." So here we go. Here's where some of it gets tricky. So, Ser Jorah takes Dany to meet Samwell Tarly, the man who saved his life. And she's like, she's like, "You're the man who saved Ser Jorah when no one else couldn't." And Ser Jorah was like, "Oh, they could have saved me. They just didn't." And she was like, "Great bravery deserves great reward." And he was like, "Maybe some things change at the Citadel when I become queen, blah, 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 blah." And so Samwell was like, "Well, I could use," he's like, "Was there anything I could give you?" And she was like, "Well, then I could use a pardon or two." And she was like, "A pardon?" And he was like, "Well, I may have borrowed some books from the Citadel when I left that I wasn't supposed to." Which everybody was chuckling. They're like, okay, not a problem. We can pardon you for that. And he's like, "And I may have taken a sword." And she was like, "You took a sword from the Citadel?" And he was like, "No, actually, I took a sword from my family home. Eventually, it would have been mine if my dad wasn't being a jackass." And he mentioned his dad's name, and she was like, oh. Because last season, his daddy and his brother, she burnt them up. So she has to tell Samwell, she was like, "I'm sorry, your father refused to stand down. He refused to bend the knee, and he's gone." And he was like, "Okay," because him and his dad don't get along. He's like, "Well, at least now I will be allowed back home, with my brother being the Lord and Commander." And then she's like, "Oh. Well, he stood with his daddy, so he gone too." And so that pretty much broke Samwell. And he was like, okay, like he was literally about to start crying. And he's like, "I can't, may I go? Because I just can't be in your," he's just like, that's, when she could have had a great ally in Samwell. Now she does not, because she killed his father and his brother. So, not a good thing. So, also, can we rewind back to when Jon, Sansa, Bran, and Daenerys were doing introductions and everything, and Bran was literally like, "This is bullshit. We don't have time. We got other things to go. Nobody has done for this." So, Sam walks out after he runs out after talking to Daenerys, and he runs into Bran, and he's like, "What are you doing out here?" He's like, "I'm waiting for an old friend," and he was like, "It's time. Jon needs to know the truth," and he was like, "Okay, well, you're his brother." He's like, "I'm not his brother." He's like, "If he trusts you, he will believe you over anyone else." And so Jon is down in the crypt communing with his father, his dad, Ned Stark, at the crypt. And so Samwell comes down there and he was like, "Do you know she killed my father and my brother?" And he was like, "I didn't. I'm so sorry." And he was like, and Samuel was like, "Would you have done the same thing?" And he was like, "You've seen me execute men who broken the rules." And he's like, "I've also seen you give mercy and pardon men as well." And so I don't like little children. So Samuel is like, "Well, you're the king." He's like, "I'm no longer the king of the north. I bent the knee to Daenerys. She's our queen now, blah, blah, blah." And he was like, "No, you're the king of the 7 kingdoms." He's like, "You're the rightful heir to the throne." And he was like, "No, I'm not." He was like, Bran and I figured it out. I threw the books at the Citadel. Bran threw whatever it is Bran has. And he was like, "Your mother was Lyanna Stark. Your father was Rhaegar Targaryen. They were married. You've never been a bastard. Your name is Aegon Targaryen, 6th of his name, protector of the realm, and true heir to the Iron Throne." And Jon was like, "What the fuck?" He's like, "What? The actual?" No. So while Jon is trying to process that, we then go to the Umber Castle. And I didn't know it was the Castle till way later. I was trying to figure out what's happening. But it's Tormund and the rest of the guys from the wall, from who survived when the wall came down at Eastwatch. And so they are trying to figure out, there's blood everywhere. They don't see anyone. And so they are walking through real carefully. My hair is a mess. This don't be what it is. Oh gosh. Okay. So they're walking carefully through trying to figure out what happened, what's going on. And so they come around a corner and they run into Ed and the rest of the Night's Watch. And they was like, "How did y'all get here?" And he was like, "We left." And he's like, "There's something you got to see." And so they come back, and the little Umber boy, if you remember from last season that Jon refused to take their family castle from him, the Karstark girl and the Umber boy. And so the Umber boy had been sent back to his castle to get all his people and come to Winterfell. And he said he needed more wagons and stuff, but everybody's dead, so that doesn't even matter. And so the little Karstark baby was up against the wall with a bunch of arms in a circle that had been ripped off people's bodies, in a circle around him, and he staked to the wall. And so they're having a conversation and said, "This is a message from the Night King," because they've already been through the Umber Castle. And so they said, "Well, the dead are in between us and Winterfell. How are we going to get there?" And Ed says, "Well, we'll double up on the horses and we'll get there before them." And so they're like, "Okay." And just as they are having this conversation, the Umber boy comes back from the dead with the blue eyes and starts screaming and trying to stab, even though he's stuck to the wall. And so Beric Dondarrion sets him on fire, which hurt my feelings, and burnt the little boy up. And so that was how the episode ended. Like, it was a roller coaster. Like, I can't, like, I'm trying not to be too animated so I get all the details out. But I screamed at my TV screen several times. I hollered, bitch, look, it was it was a whole lot. It was a whole lot. But I cannot wait till next Sunday for the next episode. It looks like they're gonna get there right before the dead, and Jon is like, how much time do we have? And Tormund's like, they'll be here before the sun comes up. Oh shit. So they've got a lot of shit going on. There's a lot of stuff that's not going to be dealt with right away because the people is coming. So we will see what happens. Cersei's short-sighted ass. Oh God, I can't wait for her to die. Somebody got to kill her. All right. So that is all I have for this episode. Like, comment, and subscribe. I know there are going to be people who've never watched my channel before who is going to jump in the comments and put in all of the plug up any of the holes that I left in the retelling and recapping of this episode, which I'm going to say thank you and I appreciate that now. Follow me on all of the socials. And did I ever say what my name was? Oh no. But if you found me, you know what it is. This is Ebbie, Ebbie Reviews, and I will catch you in the next one.